I want to earn more money. I want more responsibility. I want more opportunities. I want to have better relationships. I want my life to be better. I want to be healthy, fit and strong. I bang on about 4 things every day, which is healthy, fit and strong, career or business that you love, financial freedom and great people in your life. So how do you make that happen? And there seems to be one word that connects everything that nobody wants to really admit to having to be responsible for. I am responsible for what happens to me. Could that be a really interesting philosophy to consider? I am response-able. But I was taught a really long time ago something that's I just am so appreciative of, which is don't just take responsibility for what you're doing and what you say and the things that you've done versus what the rest of the world seems to be doing, which is blame other people. Not my fault, I didn't do it, they did it, please don't blame me. I was taught that even if it's not your fault, even if you didn't do it, even if somebody else made a really big screw up, Rowie, take responsibility for it. Because if I take responsibility for something, even if I didn't do it, I'm the one that's going to get the lesson. I'm going to learn from it. I love breaking that word up into response-able. I am able to respond to every situation because it's going to make me tougher, stronger, wiser, better, fitter, healthier. If you have a look at the 4 things that I bang on about every day, responsibility is the only thing that makes them happen. If you are responsible, I'm sure you heard that as a kid, be responsible. If you are not healthy, fit and strong, you have to take responsibility for your own body. You can't blame other people. You can't blame the government or McDonald's or soft drinks or lollies or people trying to encourage you to eat crappy food. Everything you've ever eaten was your choice. Every meal you've ever had, you were there. So you have to take responsibility for the stuff that you put into your body. And if you do take responsibility, you go, well, I'm fat because I ate it. I'm sick and diseased because I don't get out in the fresh air and sunshine. I sit on my backside all the time. I eat crappy food. I don't move my body. I don't sleep well. I'm putting stuff into my body that isn't adding value to my life. I have to take responsibility that I'm fat, sick, weak and diseased. It's my fault. Now, I know that sounds really harsh, but the reverse of that, if you're healthy, fit, strong, lean and energetic, that's because you took responsibility for your body. You are able to respond and your life is different. To me, that's just simple. The second thing I bang on about every day is your career, your business. The third is your money and the fourth is your relationships. But they're all connected, of course, because if you are healthy, fit and strong, are you more likely to have a career or business that you love because you've got high self-esteem and good self-confidence? You've got a body that can go and do all the things that you want to do. So you're more likely to make great decisions about your career path or you're more likely to be better at your job, your career or your business. You are able to respond to nasty people, horrible customers, a yucky boss. Take responsibility for why are you in that position? Did you interview for that job? Did you put in a resume to be able to get that job? Did you buy that business? Did you choose this career path? And if the answer is yes, then take responsibility for your choices. And I chose this, so now I need to make the most of it. And I have a lot of people complain to me about their job. I'm sure that you do too. But I always ask this, are you the very best at what you do? Even if your boss is terrible or the product or service you don't like or you have to work there at the moment because you just have to, and I can never understand that, but some people share that with me. I can't quit my job. I just have to work here and stay at this horrible job. Well, take responsibility that you're there, but then take responsibility for what's happening at your job or your career path. And here's the interesting one. I deal with everyday bosses and managers and owners of businesses, and they all tell me the same thing. They don't want to lose the good people. They don't want to get rid of the people that work really hard, have great work ethic, they're positive and happy, they add value to the business. Most of all, they want to keep the people that add cash flow to the business or who make sales or increase the profit or cash flow of the business. That just makes sense, doesn't it? So when people are whinging at me about their job, not taking responsibility for their job, I always ask, are you the best at what you do? If I went and talked to your boss right now, or your manager or the owner of the business, would they say to me, we can't possibly lose her or him. They're the best people we've ever had. They arrive on time, they stay late, they go the extra mile, they follow all the systems in the business, they add cash flow to the business, they add more customers and members to the business. They're really good at what they do and they keep getting better. And I'm sharing that with you because I'm an entrepreneur. I've never started a business. I've always just gone into other people's businesses and aimed to add value. And the only way you can do that is to increase cash flow, increase the money that comes through the business, increase profit. So I've never been paid a wage. I've always said to the owner of the business or the manager or the person that's responsible for making the business grow, don't pay me any money. What I want you to do is give me a percentage of the added cash flow I bring into the business, or the more members I bring into the business, or the more clients I bring into the business. So I've had to back myself. And I share that with you because obviously when you're healthy, fit and strong, and when you want to keep getting better at what you do because you love what you do, that whole process is really easy. So financial freedom for me has been a very simple process. Love what I do, and of course I do. I've been an exercise professional all of my life. Make sure that I keep getting better at what I do. So if you are in a job and you've been there for a really long time, are you regularly training and educating and getting better? The world goes fast. Initially for me, I had to learn how to type. Then I had to learn how to use a computer. Then I had to learn how to use the internet. And then I had to learn how to, now it's Google and AI and robots. You have to keep up. We were the first college to have a phone app. We were the first college to go online. We were the first college to, our education process is really at cutting edge all of the time because we've got to keep getting better. And when you do that, obviously your career path is going to be more secure. If you're looking for financial security in your job, the only way to do that is to add value to the business. And I use a very funny story for that. Well, it's not funny, but the look on the little guy's face was priceless. A young man said to me, could you please recommend me to go and work in a gym? He had come through our college to become an exercise professional. And I asked this question of everybody. This was a really interesting response. And he at the time he was working in a supermarket. And I said, if I go to your boss at the supermarket or your duty manager at the supermarket, your customers at the supermarket, the people that you work with, and I say to them, is this the best person that's ever worked here? Is he on time? Does he follow the systems? Is he friendly and positive all the time? Does he keep getting better at what he does? What will they say? And he looked at me straight in the eye and he was so honest. He just said, please don't do that because I won't say anything nice about me. I hate my job and I'm not good at it. And isn't that an interesting thing to consider? That if you're not getting paid very much, if you're not given very much responsibility, if you're not promoted, if things aren't going well at your job, is it possible that you're not taking responsibility for your position? Now, even if you hate your job, if you keep getting better at it and you add value to the business and you put more money through the business, you increase the profit of the business, here's the great thing. If you quit working there, you will now know that you can go and do something else that you're absolutely passionate about because you've got the skills to do it. But if you put in a 50% effort, you're not going to get a 100% result. You're not going to get a 100% wage increase. You're not going to get 100% respect. That's just called take responsibility for the position you're in now. So if you've got a lousy, stinking, rotten job, I always ask, did you interview for that position? So you're there because you have to take responsibility. But I'll go a step further with the great advice that was given me. Even if it's not your fault, even if somebody else did it, take responsibility anyway. The highest paid CEOs in the world, the highest paid bosses, the people that make the most money in any organisation are the people that don't lay blame, they take responsibility, even if it wasn't their fault. And I cannot share with you, I've got countless numbers of experiences and examples of where other people have screwed up and I've just said, that's my fault, because I've gone into businesses as the entrepreneur and employed people. If somebody screwed up, that's my fault because I employed them. So I take responsibility for the mistake that they made and I'm going to fix it. And that's the big thing about the highest paid people in the world. They find the challenge and they fix it. They don't whinge about it, they don't moan about it, they don't complain about it, they don't blame, they take responsibility. When it comes to financial freedom, obviously if you're really good at what you do, you're going to have plenty of money, but plenty of money doesn't produce financial freedom and security. And I know that because I earned a lot of money for a very long time in my life, but I really didn't understand wealth creation, wealth and financial security until I was about 30. So a very long time ago now, but I earned a lot of money before I learnt how to look after it. So the responsibility of your money, yes, when you've got money, you go spend it. You are responsible for what you spend it on. But if you waste your money, if you buy stupid shit, if you don't invest wisely, you're not going to have any money, which is what happened to me when I was around about 30. I had been earning lots and lots and lots and lots of money all of my life up until then, but I hadn't invested it wisely. Now, what I'm about to share with you is not to impress, it's to express that you can change if you choose to, if you take responsibility. So I had to look at my bank account and say, lady, you've earned a lot of money and you haven't got any money. Take responsibility for that and change it. And within 8 years, I was on the Young Rich list in Australia. So I was one of the richest people in Australia under the age of 40. And that particular the way they analyse that is by profit and loss for your business. And it's not, oh, wow, she's put in a great presentation, she gets to win that award. No, they actually look at your books. How much money are you earning? How much money are you investing? What are you actually worth right now? And I was on the list of people in Australia under the age of 40 as one of the wealthiest people. And I'm sharing that with you because I decided to take responsibility for my poor financial situation. Not blame the government, not blame the tax system, not blame, there's a lot of things to blame. But when you take responsibility for your own life, for your own money, you now can change things. So I'm sharing that with you because that's a very simple process. And the last one's about relationships. And this is my favourite quote when it comes to relationships. No great relationship has ended in a breakup or a divorce. Somebody wasn't happy. Somebody was screwing up or screwing around. Somebody was doing something to make the other person unhappy. But you can blame that. Oh, it's his fault. He did it. Oh, she did it. She's horrible. She nags me. She's a terrible person. There's a whole heap of things that people blame in a relationship. But how about this? If you take responsibility for who you are, when you look in the mirror at the end of the day and you like who you are, you respect yourself, you know that you're doing the right thing for you and all the people in your life. If somebody else is screwing up, then you take responsibility for getting the hell out of there because you don't need to be disrespected. You don't need to be in a relationship where people are treating you badly. So if you're a great person and you haven't got great people around you, become responsible, take responsibility and get the hell out of there. But if you have a careful look at your relationship and you realise, my partner, why would they like me? I'm out of shape, I smoke, I drink, I take drugs, I don't do anything around the house, I'm not a nice person, I don't spend enough time with the kids. There's a whole heap of reasons why relationships break up. And if you look at that and say, it's not my fault that that I drink too much, I smoke too much, I don't do anything around the home, well, now you're blaming what? I've just got a fun story for that. I often get blamed, and this has happened to me many times. I've lived on the planet a really long time and I'm an old lady. I get blamed often for breaking up relationships. It was Rowi's fault that we're breaking up. You've been talking to Rowi and that's why we're breaking up. I've been an exercise coach all of my life, and a lot of the exercise coaching that you do obviously changes people's brains. They become tougher and stronger and wiser and more logical, more common sense rather than emotional. So when you get really fit and really strong, you start questioning, why am I not healthy, fit and strong? I can change that. Why I'm in a lousy, stinking, rotten job? I can get out of there. I feel good about myself. Why am I broke? I can change that because I've got a body that can go and make money now. And why am I in this lousy, stinking, rotten relationship? Why am I putting up with somebody that's treating me disrespectfully? I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm got self-confidence and self-esteem now because I've got a career that I love, I'm financially free. Why have I got these stinking people in my life? Now, it could be family, could be friends, could be your partner. So you went to that gym or you went to that personal exercise coach and now you don't want to be in my relationship anymore. It's Rowi's fault. Isn't that interesting? And I love it. I would like those people, and they very rarely do, but I would love those people to come to me and say, my relationship's broken up because of you. And there's a great question to ask. Really? Tell me about that. Have you taken responsibility? Do you think you need to take responsibility for what's happened in that relationship? What have you done that might have caused this relationship to break up? And I'm going to be very personal about this because I've been married before. I've just about 30 years married to my gorgeous K-man, my husband. I was married before that. And the relationship broke up. And when it did, I had to take responsibility. Now, I could easily say to you, it wasn't my fault, this is what happened. But I take responsibility because I put myself into the relationship and I took myself out of the relationship because it wasn't adding value to my life. We all get to do that. If you're not adding value to a relationship, however, why would you expect somebody to be in a relationship with you? What are you doing to make that relationship better? What are you doing to add value? And I'll go across the board. What are you doing to add value to your own human body so you're healthy, fit and strong? What are you doing to add value to the career or business that you're in? What are you doing to add value to your financial situation so you can be financially free? And are you adding massive value to all the people in your life? Now, some of them may not appreciate it, but you have to be able to look in your mirror at the end of the day and say, I'm adding value to the people in my life. If they don't like me, if they don't want to be in my life, then I take responsibility for that. I'm going to get out of there, because why would you stay somewhere where you're not wanted? Why would you stay with somebody that doesn't love you or respect you? Why would you stay in a relationship just because? And I often hear this, sacrifice and compromise. I don't think any relationship should be about sacrifice and compromise. Two powerful, passionate, positive people come together. They don't sacrifice anything. They don't compromise anything. They're just proud of each other. And that's one of my favourite quotes when it comes to relationships. I'm not your other half, because 1 and 1 makes 2. Two beautiful people that come together that respect each other, love each other, and allow, well, I don't even like the word allow. They're just really excited the other person does what they do. So responsible. Are you taking responsibility for every part of your life? And if you are a parent, teacher, coach, boss or leader, I'm so thankful to the person that taught me this. It was one of the mentors in my life that said, Rowie, if you screw up, take responsibility. But if somebody else screws up, take responsibility for their screw up, because you'll learn the lesson. If you don't take responsibility, you never learn, grow, get better. So take responsibility for what you do, because you'll get better. But if you take responsibility for other people's screw ups, you'll get better even quicker. Isn't that great advice? So when people say to me, Rowie, you're so lucky, really? I'm healthy, fit and strong. I've always had a career or business that I love. Financial freedom after that is really simple, and I refuse to have crappy people in my life. To me, that is living life to the max, and that is a choice. I am responsible for my choices. Live your life to the max. Super duper doo, how are you? Living my life to the max.